Hi everybody. In this ViaRender video, we're going to take a look at how to take your Twinmotion renders from Twinmotion and convert them into a more painterly, more artistic looking end result. This is more traditional. It's more akin to what you would have gotten with visualization artists or architects who kind of just used Photoshop to create their original renders. This approach will give you much more painterly, more textured and more beautifully hazy renders. They look a bit more artistic. It's not that hard to do in Twinmotion. So I'll run through my Twinmotion scene, the lighting setup that I use, the settings I use, and then we'll bounce over into Photoshop and I'll show you the steps there to create renders that are a lot more artistic and a lot more painterly. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, everybody. So here we are in Twinmotion 25.2. We're not using the newest version of Twinmotion because it's relatively unstable. So we're using 25.2. And here's a scene that we have. This is a home from the warehouse. And I filled this with a number of max tree trees and a lot of the newer trees from the Twinmotion library. I've set up my shot right here. And I'm going to turn the path tracer on because this is how we're going to be rendering this. And this is how it looks right now in Twinmotion with a custom medium setting of 32. So it looks pretty nice. So let's look at the settings because that's really going to inform a lot of how the end result is going to look. In order to do that, let's look at the environment first. And I'll run through all the settings. Firstly, you will need a visually appealing sky. What we mean by that is something that ideally has a little bit of blue, maybe some pink, trying to avoid really harsh sunrises or sunsets, but you do want something that's not just a Lenong style gray overcast sky. We are going for a painterly look. I'm using Mind Dump Flats 8K, and if this is not available in the HDRI environments, you can get it on Polyhaven and just download the 8K version. That's perfectly fine. That's all you need. Now, a really important part of this is we do turn off the match HDRI. Why we do this is if I turn this on, pretty much the only lighting in the scene is coming from the HDRI, and that is not enough for us. Even with that cranked up to 100, and I could adjust the exposure, sure, but honestly, what we actually need is light that we can control. So in this case, what we have is the match HDRI turned off, and then can I just come in here and type in values? So I started with 50, and then I went up to 500, and you can probably take this up quite a bit higher as well. Now, what you're actually looking for in this is basically areas of shadow that will help break up this area of grass, and you want a bit of light potentially hitting the house. You will also want to change the color. So I can use temperature and I can just put it to 6,500 Kelvin. Or if I turn that off, I can just put the color to white and that will work as well. And so again, grab that intensity slider, start bringing this up to, start with a couple of thousand if you want. And then we want to rotate this and get a look that we're going for. Remember, we're going to have to adjust the Z and the X axis, and you want the light falling on the actual house, but we also want a little bit of shadow in there as well. So if you can get something akin to that'll work pretty nicely. So we've got shadow on the grassland and the house is quite well lit up. Very nice. Now, we've ignored everything else, and then under the camera settings, we've auto exposure turned off. You always want to do that. Manually set the exposure. It's very low at the moment. White balance, 6,500 Kelvin, and tint slightly to the right at 0.15. Now, this is super important. Local exposure. You will have to control basically the highlights and the shadows. Now, we don't want anything to be super bright in this or super dark. So we've kind of adjusted these a little bit. And I put the shadows up around 0.75 and the highlights around 0.44. That'll give us a pretty nice result. You can see right here we are getting some kind of occluded shadows, and the grass shadowing is looking very nice. Focal length, just put that to whatever your render needs to be. I'm using a relatively lowish one. Vignette, you could honestly turn this off. We're going to do this in Photoshop anyway, but if not, the default 40 is fine. And parallelism is on. Now, under the render settings, we are going to render this using the path tracer. We're going to put this to high. There are artistic effects within Twinmotion as of 2025, but they don't work with the path tracer. So we're going to put this to high. You can do the default 256 is perfectly fine. You could also crank it up to 500 or 512 if you want. Now, the FX, this is really, really important. We have dropped the contrast. The saturation is always at 50, and we're using the clarity slider to make our image pop. So I put this at about 55, and I added a little dash of sharpness, only about 10% as well. That clarity slider is really, really important for the final result. Render this out, or something similar, render your scene out, and let's bounce over to Photoshop. All right, guys. So here you can see this was the finished result that I ended up with. I'm going to run through basically how to do this. So here is our raw render. Let's delete these layers. You don't need them. Here is our raw Twinmotion render. And you can see, I think it looks really, really nice just as is. So what we'll do now is come into the background, duplicate the background layer, click OK, and we'll go up to filter, and we'll do a little camera raw filter. So let's take a look at what we have to work with first. Let's go to light, and I am going to kind of darken the blacks a little bit, and I may darken the shadows just a little bit. We're going to add a lot more to the shadows with the burn and dodge tool. So what we can do is just take these down a little. Now, the whites and highlights, we got to be mindful of these. So I do kind of want to maybe bring back a little bit of the white there, just to give that sky a bit of a dreamy look. And then we'll just look at the highlights here. Probably about there is fine. That'll work fine. We can still see the sky and nothing is too bright or too dark. We can add a tiny smidge of contrast if we want, but again, we've got that clarity, or we will be bringing our clarity slider up really high. So that looks good. Color. What I'll do is actually come in here, and sometimes you can just ask Photoshop to figure it out. This isn't too bad. It's made it very purple though. So we can just add a little, just a 1 maybe on the temperature. And on the vibrance, just take it, let's take that down slightly. We can add a bit of that back manually. I'm going to skip over effects, come back to this dude in a second. I'm just going to curve. And this is super, super important. I want to clamp the dark and light values. So I'm going to left click here, and I'm just going to lift this up. See, now, normally in my videos, I have you take it to the right, but that gives it a very mattifying effect, which I like. But for paint, we don't want to do that. We just want to lift this guy up. And on the highlights, the whitest, brightest parts of the image, we also want to clamp that as well. Now, we don't have a huge amount up there on those values, so I can probably just kind of, let's put that about there. That looks very nice. We do want to add a little bit more clarity, so I'm going to take that up quite high. Added a little bit of texture, but we already have kind of a pretty strong textured effect going on, so just a little bit of that. We do want quite a bit of grain, so I'm going to put this up about 30 or 40. What I did in the D5 video is just crank it all the way to the right and then just dial it back. But honestly, 30 or 40 will give you the result you're looking for. And then vignette and dehaze. So the vignette, we're going to just apply that. That'll darken the edges a bit. Don't go too strong with that. And then the dehaze slider, because we want this to be a bit dreamy, take that a little bit to the left. Okay, color mixer. Here's where we'll control the individual elements of our color in our scene. So what I'll do is take down the grass luminance. I don't necessarily want the grass to be so bright. So just take it down a little bit and take the saturation down. Make it look a bit more washed out. Actually, let's bring it to the right. We'll actually make it look, and we'll do some of that washing out with the burn dodge tool. So lower luminance, higher saturation. That looks nice. We also have some purple flowers in there, so I may grab the magenta slider, and I got to be careful with the sky. You can see when I crank that, the sky gets a bit too Ghostbusters looking. So I'm just going to move that a little bit to the right, and can we adjust that luminance? There we go. Not too bad. And we'll do the purples as well. Color grading, nothing new here. We'll pop down, add a little dash of blue to the midtones. Just left click your cursor somewhere in the bluish area and hold down shift to actually lock that so you've got more control over it. And we're going to ignore the midtones. We'll go straight to the highlights and do the same again. Add a little bit of, maybe a little bit more orange on this one. Hold down shift. And you can also adjust the luminance here if you want, for example, of the highlights as well. So we'll add a little bit there. All right, last thing is detail. Let's grab the sharpening slider. We're going to crank it all the way up. We can probably put this to about 90, and we'll leave the radius at 1. If you grab the radius and take it up to 3, kind of like, it's just basically kind of interpreting the radius for where to read that. But right now, I think that looks lovely. Click OK. So there's our raw Twinmotion. Here's our background copy. Yeah, much nicer. Now, the next thing we need to do is a little bit of burning and dodging. So I'm going to right-click, duplicate the background copy, and I'll rename this burn. I kind of like to start with the darker colors for this. Go over to the left, grab our burn tool, and I'm going to start with just the mid-tones and an exposure of about 50, whatever, 49, 50. I'll come in here, and with the brush fairly large, I'm just going to kind of start brushing over the areas that I think should be a little bit darker. I'm doing this very strong as well. And come in here. And then I'll also do the shadows and just kind of make those shadows a little bit darker, just wherever I think they should be. Then I'll come to the top right and just drop opacity. So I want control over this. There we go. Looks lovely. And then I'll duplicate this camera raw layer again one more time. I'll move it to the top of the stack, and I'll call this one dodge. And we'll come in here now, and we will just change our tool to the dodge tool. I'll put this to the mid-tones and take the exposure up again, about 50, or, yeah, that'll work fine. And I'm just going to brush this ever so gently. There we go. Just the areas that I think need to pop a little bit more. And on the highlights too. So we get some of those highlights on the trees, which will give it a nice painterly effect. And again, this is super strong, right? So once we have that done, we just go ahead and drop the intensity of that layer. And I'll take this one pretty low. The dodge is very strong. You can see off, on. So I'll just add this at a very low level. And once we're done with that, we will duplicate our camera raw layer one more time. And I'll hold down Shift and select the dodge, burn, and background copy layer, and I'm going to merge those layers. Now, with that done, you can always come in, and if you want to, you can kind of adjust any of the other things like the levels or the brightness. Like your sort of like painterly effect is, your canvas ready to go. But you can still come in here and make any changes that you see fit. Kind of do the more traditional Photoshop effects. But overall, I'm really happy with the end result. I'll leave this increased contrast layer on and drop that to about 30. All right, with that being said, we are done. Hopefully you found this Twinmotion painterly video to be useful, and hopefully it'll help with some more kind of different, less hyper-realistic renders for your portfolio. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Cheers.